Hello, hello, chat. Let me move this up. Okay. I just made some pizza because I was running around and I'm bad at managing time. And I realized, I gotta start the stream soon. Congrats on getting in the temple. Where is the thing? Where is the thing? There is the thing. Hello. No cat. She'll be up there later. Wait. I gotta turn on this. Helps with the green screen slightly. Actually, let me fix that. That's annoying me. I swear every time I boot up this damn thing, something changes. Where's the chroma key? Slightly better. Still not amazing. Oh, nope. Don't want to. Nope. Okay. That's probably as good as we can get it for now. Whoop. Okay. Let's see. Comments. What's on the pizza? It's just like a bunch of cheeses and stuff. It's a gluten-free one because I have celiac. Yeah, my hair's slightly longer. I haven't been uploading or streaming as much, so you haven't seen it. But, let's see. I was at a transit consulting meeting until now. Let's see. Replace the PA Turnpike with high-speed rail. Well, funny enough, there is an old thing where the PA Turnpike was supposed to be the secondary Pennsylvania Railroad main line, but that's a whole other story. I occasionally freelance for a little bit, just so I'll soon. That's nice. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel that. I do contracts too. SEPTA doing well, yes. But we're going to have to deal with more state politics in the future. Making me want pizza. Yeah. You have movie hair now, whatever that means. How was Colorado? Very good. That was a bit ago now, but I'll talk about that. How much? Not actually as much as you'd think to transit planning, but some of the big projects won't happen until he's out, or some of the next big projects, I should say. At least they require federal funding. Oh, that's cool. Low-income housing. What's going on with transit and rail this week? Good question. There's a lot, but it's been over. Whatchamacallit? It's been overshadowed by a lot of stuff, obviously. Why is PA spending $50 million on open road tolling gantries? Honestly, that's not that much money. And I know that the turnpike and the Northeast Extension are the ones that's going to get it, which makes sense because they're already toll roads. Have you heard anything about energy sector funding? Not much. FRA long distance study. I mean, it's pretty much what we expected, but I can go through it. I think it's kind of interesting which routes they said are the best and should be pursued and which ones aren't. I learned the architect who did my building on the inland freight station building at Erie Railroad here in Manhattan. I forgot that the Erie Railroad had a building in Manhattan. Can he hurt planning jobs? Yeah, I think he will to a degree, but I don't think, like, it's not nearly going to be as bad as a lot of people think. Like a lot of those jobs will still exist. Yeah, some of the ones for like active projects or new future projects might not be as active, but they're still going to exist. How do you convince people to be more supportive of bike lanes and transit? Well, if the economy crashes, they'll be really supportive because they can't drive. um, that's what people forget. The American Transit hit some of its highest peak ridership right after the 2008 crash. But the 2008 crash also killed some projects, which was not the best. Um, hmm. Should Texas Central have similar interior to the Tokaido Shinkansen? Um, I don't know. I think there probably should be just maybe 3 classes, possibly. The problem is there's always like externalities of like what people want, and generally the American public is used to 2 types of tickets. You have your typical like coach or business, and then premium. Pretty much what airlines do. Can we expect to see the Amtrak Silver Star back? Yes, once they finish the East River Tunnel rehabilitation stuff, because that's mostly because of the East River Tunnel stuff. It's also because of Superliner inavailability. Hold on. Let me give you guys something to look at other than me. Where should the high-speed rail station be located in Seattle? Probably King Street. Also, why is... Let's see. No, not that. That. Okay. Um... You did you see the news about the New York to Scranton Amtrak study? I've seen news. I don't know when you're referring to what news or how recent. Um, but the Roseville Tunnel is done now. If Atlanta Central gets built, how many platforms do they need? Well, at least 2. Um, but probably not a ridiculous amount to start off with. You can always add more if you allocate room. Worst built Amtrak station. Well, do you mean legacy or new one? Because if you're talking new ones, I have like 1 or 2 in mind. But for the most part, if you're talking legacy inherited ones, that depends. Hmm. How should Seattle go ahead with rail expansion? Probably using old right of ways that aren't used anymore, but it's hard because Seattle, because the terrain doesn't have too many options and too many corridors. Like, obviously, honestly, just make Sounder better. Electrify Sounder, run more trains. That's pretty much all you can do at the moment. Um, Otherwise, I'm surprised. Also, I love the conga line of Metro North trains. Um, Otherwise, it's or I guess the conga line is over here along the Northeast Corridor and LIRR. Um, yeah, no, I mean like Seattle. The main thing with Seattle is that I would let's switch over to Because the main thing, the problem with Seattle is that there's not really many options to. Wait, am I looking? Yeah, there's not many options to like go in and out because you have basically north or south you can go. Like, there's not much. There is some like other class 3 stuff. Like, there is that one abandoned line through Bellevue that you could possibly do something with. But for the most part, it's like that should mostly be light rail or metro or something. It should not, like, the only thing you can really do is take this off, go out this direction on that abandoned line or something. But for the most part, there's not much you can do. I guess that's the old. Well, where's Renton? Because that's Renton. So yeah, that's the old Milwaukee main line. You could possibly do something with that. I was there quite recently. Otherwise, it's just basically north and south. You just got to make this corridor better, electrify it, like run more trains. Well, King Street has enough platforms and tracks. You just got to run the trains through and run it as like an S-Bahn system instead of having them sit there for an hour. What am I eating? I'm eating pizza. Actually, let me see if I can show that footage because I was out there recently. I was out in the Milwaukee Road. Where is? Did I save it? Yes. Okay. Yeah, it was really cool to visit this area. It's kind of eerie being out there. Well, someone could make a joke of that, but it's kind of weird being out there because it's like we used to have something here and it's just not there anymore. Let's see. So yeah, I was out here recently, so this was kind of neat. Yeah, the old catenary poles kind of hurts. Yeah, the Pacific Extension, that is a future video. There's a reason why I went out here. Is that the rail line in and out of Seattle with few curves? No, this is entirely different. This is going like west. But yeah, kind of nuts that this kind of nuts that like there used to be a 5th transcon and it's now just gone. Also, beautiful area out there too, of course. Yeah, no, the Wendover video I'm still working on. I had to kind of rewrite it because I'm making it more as like a less a because the problem with Wendover is that like he's going to immediately he's already been in my DMs when I called him out before, but also I really like this lichen on the rock. It was very yellow. Yeah, because when I called him up before, he was in my DMs. He's complaining something about like along the lines of, "Oh, I can't make any transit content. That means like if it's not like perfect, blah 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 blah. That means like something has to be like in something like just whining." And it was just like, dude, like you own 1/6 of Nebula. Don't give me shit about you fucking up about stuff, and you have to actually do research. hop in your fucking Rivian, go up the hill to the fucking ski resort, and cry your ass off when you go to the gym with one of the Trump guys in Aspen. Like, I don't care. But my main problem, yeah, no, honestly, if he focused on jet lag, that would be fine. Like, he obviously cares about that, and he doesn't care about the other stuff nowadays. So yeah. What was it? What video that went over? Well, he's made a few. I've been kind of annoyed with him for a while, but the whatchamacallit, it was specifically one earlier in April that he did about the train robberies in LA. That one's completely fucked up. And then when he did his corrections video, all the stuff we fucked up and didn't fact check originally, he didn't include that one because no one called him out on it, which I haven't done yet. But it's just the fact, like, I shouldn't need to do that. Like, this man, like, this dude just, like, you have people that should know better. Anyway. Oh, I forgot. There's like an intro to the video we had to reshoot like multiple times because... Well, let me see if I can... I think that's all of them. But yeah. The Milwaukee Road video will be coming at some point. But yeah, the Wendover video I'm redoing because I'm making it not only a kind of call out of his stuff, but it's also a call out of sort of the infographic channel mindset that a lot of these channels do, where it's just like, well, obviously no one's going to call us out on everything. So if we just pump out fucking slop, then no one gives a shit. And I can make a lot of money because people pay attention to the stupid infographics that I make. And yeah, and now that Not Just Bikes has been convinced to make another slop channel that's using the fucking half as interesting editors, it's like, come on, just like, now it's spreading and I don't want to fucking deal with it. And it's like, it's annoying that I have to log on to YouTube and I just want to watch nice content. And I don't want slop. Like, I go on there to hopefully watch something someone put together that's like decent and is interesting in some way or is shot really cool or somehow. And the infographic channels just piss me off because they're basically just Wikipedia regurgitation pages. And it's just the way that they do it, they often truncate like details out of something. And it's like, even if you're simplifying something, sometimes they simplify something so far down that it actually screws up the information. I don't want slop. No, there is non-slop content on YouTube. There's actually tons of great like content on YouTube. You just have to be a little bit patient and a little bit like working with it. But only good YouTubers like Lackawanna Cutoff Guy. Yes, we love Chuck Walsh. Did you get a chance to check out the abandoned Pacific Extension substation? No, I need to go see one of those. CGP Grey is also actually, well, I was looking into the history of Nebula, and did you know there's like 6 creators that really own Nebula, and the rest are like creator owned? Like, that's the... So CGP Grey was one of the original founders, along with Wendover and a few others. And so was the channel Kurzgesagt, I think is how you say it. It's the one German one with the birds and animation. They're very good, actually. And they actually take down videos when they know they fucked up. Crazy concept. Anyway. Because when I was researching this whole Wendover shit, I was like looking into the history of Nebula and sort of how it's set up and how a lot of the slop generation has been tied to that. And some of the creators that originally were part of that actually left and sold their portions. I think CGP Grey and also the Kurzgesagt people, or however you say it. They sold their portions because they had disagreements with people or something. So I'd love to know the internal politics of that. I personally don't like Nebula that much. I think it's fine if someone's on it and someone's part of it, but... excuse me. Pepper in the nose or whatever. Excuse me. What was it? Yeah. Mixed feeling about Chris Cazal, especially... Yeah, they have... interesting. They have very selective vibes and stuff, but for the most part, um, so I don't have any thoughts on San Francisco's new mayor, Daniel Lurie. I do not, but I can look him up. Um, I assume because of San Francisco, there's very cursed politics related to. Um, let me look at the Wikipedia article. I assume Democrat. Um, because I know the super bad guy didn't win. Um, because yeah, was it Peskin is the bad one, and then there's uh Alan releases slop fit. Actually, you'd be funny. I'm tempted to show it, but we actually made. I worked with a friend of mine, and we made a parody video of a half as interesting video that goes at the end of this Wendover video, and so that's yeah. So I'm looking at the Wikipedia article. Spill affordable housing and more homeless shelters. I mean, it sounds okay, but like this is the problem. When you see this on when you see that on a San Francisco politician site, there's a difference between them wanting to do that because wants and then actually doing it because San Francisco they just don't do things. Um, so we'll see. I mean, every fucking mayor ever. Um, every fucking mayor ever. um, let's see. He states he will want to hold the government accountable, creating an approval tracker entitlements permanent contract. Hopefully, I mean, hopefully that's the case. I mean, that's the biggest problem with San Francisco is they just don't build shit. Like, I forget there was like one building in Philly that had more housing in it that was new than the entire like San Francisco for a year, which is like, come on. Let me show you the big the big thing, the big housing thing. Um, Let me show you the big thing. It was this apartment building on Spring Garden was actually built with union funds too. Um, okay, so here's the before. Not much there except for a gym, right? Okay, now let's go find. Boom, and that's not even when it's finished. We gotta get something when it's finished. There's got to be a newer one, right? Come on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. um yeah, this thing's awesome. It has like something like 300 something units in it and they're not small either. Um and it even looks decent too, which is great. Has like a really cool entrance and everything. Can I like oh my god, Google. Oh my god. This section of the city over here, Spring Garden, Northern Liberties up here, they've been building a shit ton of stuff. That's where I did the video on the station of the in the median freeway. Um, let's see. It's got to be from maybe from the highway. You probably see it. Yeah, look at that. And that's just like one of the buildings in the area. Philly's been building a lot. Yeah, it's called the Noble. It has a cool design too. It has that like entrance on the side here, which is kind of neat. It's obviously not the cheapest housing, but like a lot of like the thing that's going to be let's see. Um Like, yeah, I like the overhang. Release the window. I will release the Wendover video. I still have to work on it. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the basics. Let's talk about the basics of rent. Okay? Let's talk let's talk rent basics. Okay. So, most people that are moving to Philly are going to be moving to a row home because that is the most amount of housing stock we have. It's these things. So, when someone is looking to move to Philly, most of the time they're going to be looking for housing like this because range of housing prices throughout. Actually, we can open up like Zillow if we really wanted. But most of the time, the cheap housing, when you want affordable housing in Philly, you're going to be looking at these. Now, there is a demand right now. There's actually pretty high demand to move to Philly for various reasons. One is that the suburbs aren't building shit. And so everyone that's young and doesn't want a fucking boring place to live wants to move to the city. And so they're mostly going to be looking at stock like this. But also, a lot of the people that are moving to the city aren't poor. And they want actually really nice amenities that will go into stuff. So normally, what will happen is buildings like these row homes will not only have like your cheap housing that's like pretty affordable, but they'll also be renovated by a developer that wants to rent them to an upscale customer. They will have like either a roof deck or something like that, a lot of new interior, all the kitchen redone and stuff like that. So suddenly one of these that would have affordable rents in them will now be way expensive because it got renovated for a higher tier of client that's willing to pay more to live in the city. And these people aren't going to stop coming into the city that if you don't build the housing. So a lot of the affordable housing that was here is suddenly now going to be taken over by higher rents because people are willing to pay more to outbid someone to move into these. So what's the solution? Well, your solution is to build the big fucking building that has maybe nicer apartments in it with a lot of stuff in it. And the benefit of this is that like, no, don't go on the fucking bottom. If you build the big fucking building that has all the nice stuff, you consolidate all of those new demand for people to move into this building, and those older row homes that are sitting over there that I just showed will stay at a lower price. And so even if you see, wow, holy fuck, new building, it's unaffordable, I have no affordable rent in it. And yeah, there's actually some subsidized rent units in this building, but the point is that all those people that would have pushed out other people in another neighborhood are instead moving into this building. So that other neighborhood and other section of the neighborhood stays a lot cheaper. So that's the thing is like, as much as we want to hate big new building raising my rents, it's like this building is preventing those new renters from, or even higher end renters from pushing people out of existing neighborhoods. And that's why I think like people should like talk about more when we're talking about housing. Because yeah, a big new building might not be affordable for like the lowest income person, but the big new building will soak up all the new people moving to the city, and they won't be moving to like the outer neighborhoods that will be pushing people away from places that are already cheap. So like, yay, big new building, especially big new building that replaced a single floor gym. Oh, crunchy. Okay. There's a bunch of new buildings along this section too. They've even converted a bunch of warehouses. Like there's a few warehouse conversions that are really cool. But I think my favorite thing about Philly is you will have like, what? Why does it do the sidewalk thing? Stop. You'll have like all these old row homes. You'll have a cool church, and then you'll have random fucking building like this. Like, it's honestly, Philly is the closest you can get to like European style construction. Oh, 2007, Jesus. Philly is the closest you can probably get to like European style cities where it's just like they'll just have a random fucking tall building in it for no reason. Actually, I mean, we have more tall buildings than European cities usually. A warehouse is good for town or city. Depends. With the way we do things nowadays, it's better to have them on the periphery of the city than it is to have them in the city. But that's not necessarily the optimal way that we should be doing it. Maybe I should make a video on that. But yeah, some of my favorite things have been like these old warehouse conversions down here. Like these were obviously warehouses at some point, but now these are all housing units. It's also Philly, unlike, I mean, there's a lot of American cities like that, but we have a lot of like empty lots in between buildings like this where you do have the opportunity to build new buildings, which is kind of nice. Let's see. Yeah, people are going to move to your trendy city no matter what. Exactly. Especially because like nowadays it's like, I think, what a lot of people underestimate is that people are not, I think the younger generation specifically, like the millennials and the Gen Z, are definitely, they don't want to live in the burbs. Like I think that's a big thing that's changed in the last like 20, 30 years is that two things is that the burbs have stopped building housing, and because we're at the point where you can't sprawl anymore. Once you get past about an hour drive into the city from the burbs, it becomes very like you can't build much more because people just don't want to drive further than like an hour maybe. So it's like you can't sprawl much farther, and because you can't sprawl much farther, you have to build more dense. So you have to build more stuff in the city, and then you have to sort of consolidate a lot of people will. So it's that you can't build much out in the burbs anymore, and they're also blocking housing. And then the other thing is that in the last 20, 30 years, there's been the shift from I want the big house in the suburb with my car and everything, and nowadays it's I want to live in the city where stuff is going on. That's like a generational divide between like Gen X and millennial Gen Z. And even within millennial, some of the older millennials are not as much keen on it where the younger ones are. So can we expect densification in the burbs? Maybe eventually. It's definitely not something that's like it very much depends on where you are. I think it will happen, but it's a certain amount of time. And Philly's interesting because like some neighborhoods have restricted sort of housing, but at the same time they will let people build stuff. Like I think, where's the new one? I think, is it this block or is it it's one of the ones over here. Where is that new one? I think, it's right there. So yeah, for example, I think the most interesting thing about the city is that like, for the most part, we have like tons and tons of old housing stock. That's like most of this stuff is from the 1800s. Some of it is from the early 1900s, but in Fairmount, for example, most of the stuff is from the 1800s. And so it's funny because we just knocked down two of them here to build I think there was only like 3-story buildings. Now it's a 4-story. To match the rest of the block, but it's like two of them were knocked down to build this new building that blends in. Too bad we don't have a newer date. But like it's funny because any other city you'd have this like an entire like we have buildings older than most cities like historic neighborhoods, and we'll just knock them down here to build bigger ones. It's kind of funny. Now, if I got to fix Fairmount, I would explode these. Someone in like the 80s or some shit built these like Adobe style houses here in Philly. It's like I have no fucking clue why these are here. Um, living in Philly, New Mexico. What kind of pizza is? Oh, it's just cheese pizza. Oh, what's it? Margarita pizza style, whatever. Someone imported Arizona to Philly. Yeah, I don't know why these are here. These are the most like this is the most like '80s, late '80s decision ever. Because like who the fuck? Why? Like some boomer was like, "Oh, I don't want to move to Arizona, but I want to bring Arizona to me." Um, so I would explode this whole thing and build a big apartment building right here. I do not understand why these exist. They're not even that big. They're probably like a one bedroom or one and a half or something like that. It's very strange why those are there. Um, but yeah, there's a reason why Philly is one of the densest. Continuous average density is very high in Philly. It's not the densest. Like obviously New York gets the densest, but that's just because Manhattan is a thing, and certain parts of Brooklyn and Queens are very dense too. Except they're going to build an infill regional rail. Yeah, they should. Honestly, they should build it like here between Poplar and Girard. That's where I'd build it. Or if you want to make something else, you could probably build it between Brown and Poplar. But it would make sense to build it between Poplar and Girard because the trolley's there. Um, but you just can't do it too far north because then it's too close to Temple, in my opinion. But what I would do is I would just build the outer tracks or outer platforms on it. I wouldn't bother with the inner platforms because you don't need every train to stop there because it wouldn't be as high of a demand. Um, did I go to Tacoma? No, I need to do that when I'm back. Um, I have a feeling I'll be back in Seattle and also hosting a meetup at some point. I need to host a bunch of meetups this year. Um, I've been a slightly behind with things because I've been yeah, Place Japan. I've been looking to move soon, and I actually finally got an application for a new place. So it's like I've been focusing a lot of my energy on that. So we'll see. And now that I can finally focus, once I move, I can finally focus more on everything. No, unfortunately, I'm not. Um, I'm moving within Philly. And no, unfortunately, I'm not going to be at the City Nerd thing. I wanted to go, but I have a lot of stuff happening this weekend related to both moving and a friend visiting, so I need to stay around Philly. Um, and yeah, I'm moving within Philly mainly because my current place, this place that I'm in now, is a one bedroom, and I'm pretty much in Center City or almost in Center City. And so I'm paying a decent amount of money, well, decent amount of money for Philly. Um, and I could be in a bigger place, and also I'm getting a roommate probably, or am getting a roommate. So I'll have a bigger place, pay less because I'll have a roommate, and then uh, I'm also just going to be in more of a neighborhood, which maybe I'll talk about eventually, but I don't want to dox my new place immediately. um, but essentially, I will be, because it's not hard to figure out roughly where I am in Philly at the moment, but I'm around on the very edge of Center City. Um, but I'll be moving farther away from Center City at this new place, and we'll see. But it's a row home, so I'm gonna. Right now, I'm in an apartment building, but I'll be moving to a row home, and so that will be nice. Row home will have a deck on it, so I can grill max or whatever. So I'm excited to do that. Where is I like the Spring Garden crossover, or where is it? Fuck, where is it? Am I dumb? Oh yeah, that's the old one. The new one goes underground there. Um, yeah, I love this because it's like your old arch bridge, and that's like a apartment building mixed with a brewery, which is cool. Which SEPTA bus? Thinking of moving downtown suburb where I live in NJ. The problem is NJ. Well, I mean, if you're talking about Burlington, I like Burlington. I'm excited. They're going to be converting the rest of this into a park. They just got the grant for it. So, do you have a problem with finances? I mean, like I've been a little short on. I've not been making as much money as I would have liked because I've been slow on the videos. But I have doing some contracts. But otherwise, yeah, I could always be making more money. And isn't that everyone? But it's mainly just been that I've been kind of slow on videos recently, and that has not been helping. The 3. I don't think I've ever ridden the 3 before. Huh. Where is it? But yeah, some of the other developments that's been happening in Philly has been down here at Washington and Broad. Is there? Oh, come on. That corner is now developed too. Can I get that one? Because this is a new building here, and there's a new one going up over there. This all 4 corners of this. Like, if you go back in time, okay. I guess that's. Can I have more dates, please? Can I have more dates? Can I have more than that? Why does it only go back to 2016? There's definitely older. It's definitely older shit than 26. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh, there's a new one. Okay. Yeah, so all this is brand new. If we go back to like 2011, nothing's there. So it's like this whole section of South Broad is very nice to see. I haven't heard of that Shinkansen route. I'll have to look that up. I yearn for Pittsburgh review. Yes, I will be. I need to get back to Pittsburgh. Actually, I'm probably. So, what you can expect this year, I'll be doing a. Let's see, what trips am I going to probably be doing? I'll definitely be going back to the Pacific Northwest. Mainly, I've been talking with a person there, so just out of knowing someone, I'll probably be back in the area because it's cheap if you're able to stay at someone's place. And probably at some point, maybe spring or summer, going to be doing an Ohio tour of some sort. Because I want to see the 3 big Ohio cities and Dayton especially for the trolleybus stuff. But if I go out to Ohio, I would probably be taking Amtrak, so I'd probably take the Pennsylvanian to Pittsburgh and then transfer to now the Floridian. Even if the Floridian has terrible on-time performance, I could also do the Lakeshore. But I would do that to Cleveland and then come down to Cincinnati. I have a friend in Columbus that I want to see, and then I have in Cincinnati people to say hi to, and then there's a rail company down near Cincinnati that I'd be probably going out and bothering. Do you post meetup dates on your socials other than Discord? Not usually, but I will post them sometimes. I need to. That's another. So on my schedule of things to do, one of the biggest things that's going to happen this year is that, like, legally, I have all my LLC stuff set up and all the like other business related stuff set up for media stuff. But this year is putting together a media company and a company that does a bunch of different things. I can't spoil too much at the moment, but the sort of the future of the channel and everything and what we do as a group is sort of going to be put into action, I guess is the best way to say it. Because a lot of people always ask me like, hey, I have such and such going on in my city. What can you cover this thing in my city? And I can always be like, well, there's only one of me and I can only do so many projects. And also not every project or everything I can make very interesting. I gotta sort of figure out a way to turn it into a project that would actually get views, which is the hard part. But Pittsburgh, I do need to head out there. I need to head out to a lot of the what do I have marked in? Oh, those are some bars, I think. But Pittsburgh is cool, especially the this side of Pittsburgh. Past the, I forget what the hill is called, but Pittsburgh is kind of insane with the hills. Also, the bus and rail tunnels are really cool. So I have to go see that at some point. Where is that? It's right here. This is so cool. For those who don't know, it's a bus and light rail tunnel. Mount Washington, that's it. Have you seen the Franklin Square station lately? Yes, I'll probably be... Oh my god. I'll probably be covering the opening of Franklin Square whenever that happens. But yeah, this tunnel is really cool. The Mount Washington Tunnel busway or whatever. Also, insane interlocking here. Would not want to be the maintenance away person that has to fuck with that. Also, interesting that they had like this line come up here and that just kind of ends. I assume it went up the hill somewhere. Or was the original different right-of-way for something? No idea. But yeah, I need to get to Pittsburgh, see all this. I need to get to Pittsburgh before is it the Silver Line? It's a Silver Line, because this thing, so the blue and the red are kind of the main two lines for the system in Pittsburgh, but then there's a Silver Line. And the Silver Line, you'll notice, it's kind of the weird one, because the blue and red are kind of useful, and then the silver kind of breaks off. And if you ever look at Street View of the silver, you'll notice it's not quite the best infrastructure of all time. Well, this section's actually not that bad, but I mean, like, yeah, still wooden poles, wooden, almost like trolley infrastructure, because it hasn't been changed since like the trolley era, essentially. Let's find like a grade crossing, because like you can tell like this just hasn't, yeah, the trolley wire, like it's very like draped like trolley wire, which is fine. I mean, SEPTA has a lot of it, but South Park, there's just a lot of things that it's you can tell that like the silver is definitely the least taken care of the entire system. It also gets the lowest ridership. The thing about the Silver Line is the problem with it is where it ends. Because it ends here, which is a really strange place to end, because the historic portion of it, I think, used to go further. I think I'll have to look up where it went, but essentially it stops here because this is the county line. And they don't want to go any further because that means that outside of the county line, it wouldn't necessarily get paid for. So I don't think they'll axe the silver, but they'll probably run it till it breaks. I mean, that's like SEPTA. Rings from an AC business class seat. Huh. Do you go into the Strong Towns event this year? Possibly. It's in Providence, so that would be very easy for me to get to. So I'll probably bother them to get a free ticket. Otherwise, I'm indifferent at going for various reasons. I think that Strong Towns is good. I just have slight problems with how they manage stuff and management in general, but otherwise it's fine. What the fuck is this? Oh, it's a VFW. Okay, they're allowed to do that. Um, yeah, no, I mean, this infrastructure isn't terrible, but it's also like you could tell it could be better at some point. Let me like, I need to find, there's like some really like, ooh, when you see infrastructure on the Silver Line. Oh, this is a station, I'm pretty sure, which is funny. Yeah, that's a station. Where's the opposite direct? Yeah, this is a station too. I love that. uh, yeah, it's just on the road. I love that. The Pittsburgh system has a funny thing where oh, that's some old Street View. The Pittsburgh system has a funny thing where it's the vehicles have high level boarding, and then they also have the front door boarding like a trolley because it's yeah, this is pretty rural for a light rail line. Now it isn't the most rural light rail line in the country. I can show that. Um, but it is up there. It is up there for one of the most rural. I need to go ride it because it is one of the coolest, probably in the country. Greetings from Orlando. Hello. Um, Pure Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was this area. I think it was based on something up on the hill up here. Um, Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but Mr. Rogers is actually a really big transit advocate. It's not surprising if you think about it, but there's actually a really good article. Let me find it. There's some good pictures of him and good things because he was commonly found in he would take Amtrak from Pittsburgh to New York City for stuff and or Pittsburgh to Washington. Um, um, yeah, this is one of my favorites. Him and the Pittsburgh trolley or whatever. Um, I think that's one of the ones in the oh, can't see because I'm in the way. Yeah, I think this is one of the ones in the museum or whatever. But he was a big transit supporter, even if he wasn't loud about it. He was kind of always talked about it. But there's a few there was a picture of him with on Amtrak, but he essentially if there's a good really good um there's a really good interview or article that he did that was like him and uh he would take what's it? I think that's an R32, right? In New York? I don't know. I'm not a New York City farmer for subway stuff. But he did take Amtrak all the time to New York City and Washington, and there's like interviews of him in Penn Station, and I think he even said something about. I think he even said something about Penn Station getting destroyed too. That's funny. Model train set. Let me go back to fix myself here. Roll sign isn't a 40 weight. That was um oh, that was your grandpa. That's cool. Grandpa used to work with Mr. Rogers. One of the things he did was play with toy trains. Oh, okay. In that episode, that's funny. Mixture LBJ and Carter, since Carter was Mr. Rogers, as if Mr. Rogers was the president. Yeah, sort of. Carter definitely had issues. I think that um, he was a little bit of a pushover with certain things, and he also was kind of austerity politics guy. But he definitely was one of the better presidents. Um, that's funny. The episode that your grandpa was in. Funny you mentioned R32. Just watch a bunch of the Super Subway Bros. FOMO reviews. Yeah, the Carter cuts. Yeah, under Carter, I think some of the worst cuts were Carter. Surprisingly, not much under Reagan. There was mainly Amtrak just stayed very stagnant under Reagan, and then under Clinton there was a lot of cuts, if I remember correctly. Some of the like the Desert Wind was, I think, was that Clinton or Bush? The Desert Wind, Amtrak Desert. Whoop, not yeah, 1997. Okay. Yeah, this is probably one of the ones that is like, in my opinion, one of the like biggest fumbles of like, why does it not fucking exist? Um, this is the Los Angeles to Vegas train, um, and the other one was the original Floridian. Um, so not the new one. Not the new one. There's an old one. Because the old one is, let's see. Because there's the old Floridian, and then there's the new, yeah, the old Floridian, which is this one, which went to Chicago through Indianapolis and then down through Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, and then Florida. This was the original Floridian. And I think this one, yeah. Oh no, this was a Carter cut also. This one should come back at some point. This is such a cool train. Is there like a list? Former Amtrak routes. Um, I love. Hold on. I love this section of the Northeast Corridor here because essentially, like, you had a bunch of these that are now all just whatchamacallit. They're now all just regionals, and they have like individual names, which is so funny. Like the Clam Digger, what? um, there are some really goofy ones. I have like a whole sheet that has like all of the names from the late PRR and then early Amtrak era, and they had some goofy names. Oh, the Clocker. The Clocker was cool. Oh, wait till you see the picture on the Wikipedia page for the Clocker. If you have not seen it, you're in for a surprise. Oh, well, there's the GG1, but here. What is that? Wait a minute. um, That's yeah. So the Clocker was essentially a train between New York City and Philadelphia, and it essentially acted like a super local, where it would go express from certain stations, but it would essentially act as a local all the way from New York to Philly, which is very useful. And honestly, I'm surprised like something like it hasn't come back. But essentially, New Jersey Transit shared the money with Amtrak to run the service. But then when during the Christie administration was when it stopped, and that's why there's a picture of a ALP 46 pulling Am fleets, which is weird. But the yeah, early 2000s. So essentially, they stopped running it after a while, and then the NJT Super Expresses took over from it. So, but it originated from the PRR era. Whoop, no, I didn't. So I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that were like, what is a vacationer? Oh, New York City, Miami. Okay. There's a bunch that existed that were Expo 74. What the fuck? Amtrak between Spokane and Seattle, Washington. I mean, this should come back. There should be a train other than the builder between Spokane and Seattle. Yeah, this makes too much sense. Oh, the North Coast Hiawatha. There's some really cool pictures of this thing running under catenary. There's like a few pictures of it like next to North Coast Hiawatha Amtrak. There's some pictures of it running under catenary, and you can find, yeah, like here's a catenary. Oh no, wait, that's just a gauge pole, not a catenary. But there are some. Let's see, 1971. Whoop. Oh my god, 1971. I've seen the pictures. There are pictures of the Hiawatha under catenary, which is like crazy. There's not many of them because the crossover between when the catenary was up and when Amtrak existed is very brief. But they do exist. I have seen them. This is kind of it because you can see the catenary in the picture, but it's not. Amtrak is on the other side. Yeah, it was under Milwaukee Road catenary. Clemdigger basically became the South Shore line. Yeah, no, there's a lot of them that was transferred from Amtrak to local agencies after a while. There's definitely pictures of it, but it's like this shit's so cool. Like bring that shit back. Hold on, let me see who is messaging me. Who is messaging me? Ah, there we go. Someone sent me the picture I was looking for. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Here's the picture I was looking for. Yeah. This shit's so cool. Like, it's so cool to see Amtrak under wire somewhere out, like, not in the Northeast. What's your opinion on the Himalayan Railway toy train? I have no idea what that is, but I gotta look that up. Was it Burlington? No, this is Milwaukee Road catenary. Some of my favorite pictures. I gotta find some of my favorite pictures of all time of the Milwaukee stuff. Actually, let's see. I think this was in. Where is that picture? Oops. Spelled that wrong. We find it. I will find it. Gotta find the best picture of all time of Joseph. Okay, here we go. One of my favorite pictures of all time. That's like very Americana. Bring this shit back. There's a return. Like, I can't wait to make this Milwaukee Road video. What's the North Coast Hiawatha on BN West End Minneapolis, I assume? It ran on BN stuff, and then it also ran on Milwaukee stuff until Idaho, I think. I don't know if this is high desert. This is more like plains of Montana, Idaho. There's another really good one that I posted before that let me find real quick. I gotta save this picture actually because like let me save this under the electrification because I don't want to lose that one again. Let me see. Where did I put? There it is. This is the other one that I absolutely love. This is the place Japan picture, but West Rockies or whatever. What do you think about MBTA's track improvement program success? I mean, it's been impressive. It's what they kind of needed, but it's kind of frustrating how to get to that point in the first place. Now, the only things that I think they need to fix is the green line stuff now, because coming from someone who rides the SEPTA trolleys, it's like night and day difference between the SEPTA trolleys and the MBTA green line. So, yeah, need to do that. Also, let me see the live streaming stuff. I have a poll for you all. Let me see. I can do polls, right? That's a thing. Engage with your audience. Start poll. Okay. Can I do? Okay. So I've been floating between two videos that I've had sort of half written before the Wendover one, because the Wendover one is coming and the Milwaukee one is also coming. But these two have to come out first, just because I need something fun to work on. I want a small project that's just fun, and so the two. Let me explain. So before I post this poll. So there's two videos I want to work on, and let's see, come back to this. So two polls to work on, sort of, and that's hold on, let me go to this map so you get something to look at. No, not that one. That one. All right, thank you. So, let's see. So yeah, two videos to work on. The first one is sort of explaining what I call it the 4 pillars of sort of city. I've been writing on this idea for a while, but it's an urbanist video, and it's specifically about the 4 things that make or what can make a city good, and what each city, maybe one city is good at 3, but then fails at one of them. And it sort of talks about the sort of like transit stuff. I can't spoil too much because that'll spoil the video. But it sort of talks about what makes a good city and what are the 4 sort of pillars of what makes a good city when it comes to planning aspects of like neighborhoods or transit or et cetera, like inner city transit maybe. But that's sort of the video. And then the other one is sort of a Northeast Corridor in a nutshell video where I go over sort of the details of the Northeast Corridor and in sort of like a almost less analytical view and more of just a subjective view of the average person that like rides the Northeast Corridor or encounters issues of the Northeast Corridor. So those are the 2 videos. I guess one's more train, one's more urbanism. But let's see. You guys get to vote on what do you think would be the fun one to work next, because I've been sort of floating in between these 2 of what to do. So let me start. There we go. So yeah, either the urbanist one or the Northeast Corridor one. I think the Northeast Corridor one would be pretty funny. But the pillars one is also an interesting aspect because it's sort of like, hey, why why is certain cities good at some things and why are other cities good at others, and what makes them necessarily better. And then the Northeast Corridor one is like, I am coming out of Frankfurt Junction. I am going to 125 miles an hour now. Notch 8 or whatever. Let's go. So it's like two of them, two very different vibes. But if either or, I'll probably do one or the other eventually. But it's like I'll necessarily focus one first, then do some other stuff, then come back to the other one, because both of them I've wanted to do for a while. The Northeast Corridor one would be definitely more foamer, and the Four Pillars one would definitely be more sort of I guess sort of interesting in like the aspect of like, hey, how does my city relate to these concepts? The Northeast Corridor one would definitely be more jokey than the Four Pillars ones, but let's see. But yeah, this Milwaukee section, the place where I was taking pictures was mainly over here, on this section specifically. So I will need to go back and go further west, because some of the more interesting stuff is further west out here along this section. This is where a very famous bridge over the, what river is this? You can tell me the river, thank you. The Columbia River. This is like a really impressive bridge over here that still exists. This was all electrified too. Let's see. I think Pillars is winning. I'll let it go for a little bit longer. Yeah, probably Beverly Bridge I'm talking about is here over the Columbia. Let's see. Or satellite. Still there. It's kind of such a shame that the right-of-way is in the state it's in. It's like, this is not... It's so crazy that they kind of just left it. Like, everything's just left by itself. I think like even over here there's some bridges. But the right-of-way is still there. Like you could theoretically reuse a decent amount of it if you ever wanted to, like someone ever wanted to use it for something. Let's see, there's another bridge somewhere around here. They built a lot of like concrete arch bridges which existed, and a few of them still exist. But for the most part, it's like... But yeah, I'd love to find one of the substations. Because that's also cool. Because it was DC power, you had to have a lot of... Yeah, there's one of the bridges. Right there. Because it was DC power, you had to have a lot of substations. But it looks like, okay... See, how many people have voted so far? 60 votes. There's like, I think there's like 100 of you in the stream. So if you haven't voted, I'm going to shut that soon. Oops. Go back to this. Milwaukee line has better grades curves since Everdeck. Yeah. It's, yeah, the whole video I also want to talk about the fact that like part of the reason why the Milwaukee Road Pacific Extension failed was the whole idea was that it was very, very difficult for it to carry, or it was very, very difficult to build. And the whole idea was that the Panama Canal wasn't built yet. So it was the only way you could get stuff across the country and then ship somewhere. And once the Panama Canal became a thing, it sort of stopped mattering. Where is this? Is this in Idaho? Malden, Idaho? Or is this Washington? Washington? Yeah, it's at Washington. So I want to see if this bridge... I want to see what condition it is in. It's not terrible. It's definitely not incredible. No Milwaukee Road, little stamps or anything I don't see. Yeah, in the Milwaukee Road, but anyway, they built this whole like thing with the concept of that like the Panama Canal is not a thing yet, and so since it's not a thing, the only way to get stuff across the country is by train. And then once the Panama Canal was built, they're like, well, fuck. So that killed a lot of the freight traffic very early on. I think this is the right of way. Yeah, and this is like one of the really cool bridges here. Yeah, so cool. Like just there's a lot of abandoned railroad stuff, but this is the one that has just an insane amount of abandoned uh insane amount of abandoned infrastructure. Like there's very few other things that have existed at one point that have just disappeared like this. I think the Rock Island is another good example of just stuff that just disappeared. I guess, let's see. Yep, still there. They could wires were high enough that they could fit double stacks under them if they lasted long enough. Yeah, it was also intermodal containers really didn't pick up until the 80s, so or late 80s. So it was there's a decent amount of time between the Milwaukee existing and then intermodal traffic picking up, or I should say the Pacific Extension. But it would have helped them a lot if that was a thing. God, this is so cool. Like, look at this shit. Like, so cool. It's just that's yeah. It's just amazing that all this shit still exists now. Granted, that's a rail trail nowadays, so at least it's saved. But it's just like very few examples of like just a shit ton of infrastructure just left and never again. Milwaukee Road, Sierra Tunnel. There was a some of my favorites are also the. Is it worth bringing the route back? Possibly. So one of my favorites is Electron, Washington. I wonder why this was called Electron, Washington. Where is the... this is one of the generation stations for the Milwaukee Road, is Electron. Because the Milwaukee was up here. Would it be better to electrify than bring them back with the Milwaukee too? Honestly, just electrifying the current stuff is the best way to go. It's only bringing back the Milwaukee would be a secondary thing. Like you would only need if you really like wanted an alternative route. Yeah, because the place that I went was over here, which is the Hall Creek Bridge and all this stuff along here, which is really neat. It's kind of neat how it hugs the wall of the canyon for nice grade versus the highway, which kind of goes like up and down. I would love to get back there eventually. Jason, yes, I've seen that. I like that documentary. I don't. Its pacing is a little off, in my opinion. It could have been like slightly better, but it's really good in that that what that person did. Let's see. What was it? Yeah. So I eventually need to get back there, but also let me end poll. Okay. I guess we're going to be going with the Four Pillars video, so I will be writing that next. I'm not going to be staying up too late tonight because I need to go answer some stuff and also do some cleaning before a friend visits this weekend. And I've also been busy with packing and et cetera, and doing stuff with that. Oh, also not the most full of energy at the moment. When it comes to most stuff in Cali, anyway, it makes most sense to add capacity down there. Yes, agreed. Is it too much to bring a route back to try to electrify BNSF trackage? I mean, the transcon would make sense to electrify. Also, anything over the Rockies would make sense to electrify. What is 4 pillars picked when I search? Oh, so I explained these. The 4 pillars video is essentially 4 pillars of urbanism and why a certain city is decent. And then the Northeast Corridor, or NEC Northeast Corridor, is the Northeast Corridor in a nutshell. Also, ripped Great Northern electrification. Yeah, they didn't have as much, but they had really cool locomotives, the Great Northern. I know there's a Buffalo, Wyoming. That would make a lot of sense, though. I need to get out here to this little marker. Anyone know what's out here? Middle of fucking nowhere. Anyone know what that is? Why would I have that marked? The poll is probably rounding down. It's probably a rounding error. Yep, someone got it. This is the Desert Electric Railroad. It's kind of neat, or Desert Power Railroad. Let's see, is there Look at that. Catenary wire. That's crazy. It's crazy. What's catenary wire doing out here? This could be Union Pacific if they gave a shit. There's this person in my Discord that has done a really good video on this railroad. But I definitely need to go out there and see it at some point. Hoping that possibly... That's another thing. I might possibly be in Los Angeles, Reno, and Las Vegas for a project in the future. We'll see. But possibly when I'm out Reno, I might just go this direction, go all the way to see this. But that's a long fucking drive. It's also out in the middle of nowhere in Dinosaur, Colorado, or Dinosaur, or near that, or whatever. It's like most people are going out here to go climb the rocks and shit. I would be out here to look at train. I am not like you. Yeah, kind of cool. There is photos of I've seen the photos of the UP catenary test stuff. I love the one of the 844 under it too, or what's left of it, I guess. Oop, in the tunnel. Yeah. Yeah, this could be how the rest of the US looks, but we just don't fuck with it. So I need to go out there and actually see it. I've seen so many videos of it. The other road. Personally, when I'm looking at the US, I would like to see USA rail where it shows satellite images historical or at the same time. It's called I've never heard of this one. Interesting. Oh, this is using like GRF, so this is the same stuff that the yeah, this is the one I'm looking at. Okay, how do I tools? How do I flip it to satellite? There we go. Layers. There we go. Yeah, this is the one I'm looking at. So we went up here to... So it is interesting. There's like rail guide, but just has a... That's not what I wanted. I want historical... There we go. So what happens when I click on it? Okay, it doesn't really show. See, that's the other thing, is that like this is really cool, but also a little clunky. Yep. Yeah, there's a few of those. There was a few of those in the U.S. where they only electrified for that reason. Also, Tumbler Ridge, the Tumbler Ridge subdivision of uh, British Columbia Railroad or BC Rail. Yeah, it would definitely be one of the better ones to electrify the Lackawanna, um, or the Erie Lackawanna. Um, where is it? Because the nice thing about the Erie Lackawanna or the current main line that exists is that it's where are we? Up, down here. Okay. So what we're talking about is this line right here goes like this, and then up, uh, and across, and then over to Scranton. That one would be a really good one to electrify, mainly because it's entirely government owned at this point. It's either NJT or it's the what you call it, the counties in Pennsylvania own it. Other than sections around Strasburg, Mount Hogan, Scranton, it's almost dead straight. Yes, I mean, you probably hit pretty high speeds on the cutoff or whatever. Yes, Amtrak Cascades, at least between Portland and Seattle, would make a ton of sense. I got to ride that, and it's like the entire time I was thinking that could be easily electrified and probably go 110. There's a bunch of sections that are pretty relatively straight. Because when I got the impression of the Cascades originally, I thought it was going to be more curvy, but the section between Portland and Seattle is actually quite straight. How about a route between Scranton and Buffalo? I mean, that's the rest of the Erie Lackawanna, which is like most of that's gone now. At least the section from Cornell to Buffalo, that's like gone, or Hornell to Buffalo. Yes, Chuck is great. I actually, that's another video I've been meaning to make, is like an update video, but an update video of every single thing I've talked about so far in the channel, or something like that. I think that would be kind of fun. And that would include like the Lackawanna cutoff and stuff like that. Oh my god. Probably can end the stream in like 10 minutes because I am getting very tired for some reason. I'll have to save this. This is interesting. Especially for looks like quite useful for the UK and stuff, which I might use in the future. Chuck Walsh for president. Chuck Walsh, well, the funny part about the Lackawanna cutoff is they did, in one of the engineering documents, name one of the interlockings that is going to exist in the future after him. So I'm excited for that to happen. What the fuck? Oh, that's all the commuter rail stuff. Okay. Like the interlocking that would be here between coming off of the bridge onto the old main. There's an interlocking there, and they're going to name it Chuck, which I think is funny. But it would be so beautiful riding a train through this section. That would be so nice to ride a train through this instead of on the highway. Like, ew. What's gonna happen? Oh my god. That's gonna happen to the old NJT trains on the cutoff though. Well, they'll probably go to Andover, but they probably won't go any further. It would be really cool if you could get the NJT stuff to the Delaware Water Gap here. Because it'd be really cool to have a station here and then go hiking or something. Or at least like East Stroudsburg. That would also be a good spot to end like NJT trains. But the Delaware Water Gap area would be cool also. Just be able to have a few trains. Kind of like how Mark goes to Perryville. But I'm looking forward to the train to this because it's like I have family and friends up in the area. It would be really nice to be able to head up in this direction and not have to drive. Oh, I meant the engine's rotting away there. Old engine. Oh, you mean the ALP 44s or whatever that is, or the AM 7s or whatever is sitting there. I mean, those are going to get scrapped. Those are in such bad condition. Like, there's a few of them that have been saved, but they're just sitting in a deadline here. It's a shame that like these couldn't be sold to like another railroad to use for electrification, like for MBTA or something. But I think it was a mixture of like older electronics and no PTC that really like made them kind of useless. But it is sort of a systemic issue with American rail that like we sort of just deadline things when you get newer engines and don't kind of figure out a secondary use for them. I think that is a major issue. And yeah, some of these they've welded over the windows with like with whatchamacallit, with steel, but most of them have still gotten broken into. There's no real reason to convert them into cab cars. NJT doesn't really need more cab cars. They have a bunch of them. Excuse me. Oh my god. How about Southern Tier in New York? Yes. I mean, you could at least do a line you can at least do a line from Scranton to Binghamton. That would be quite useful because they're quite close to each other. And then Binghamton to like either Elmira and then eventually to Ithaca's weird to get to because you would get a lot of ridership from Ithaca because of college students, but at the same time, it's like rail connections to Ithaca kind of suck. Funny fact, you can actually get from Ithaca here all the way to New York City via boat. And you can also get from Ithaca to Montreal via boat without going out into the ocean. Funny canal system moment. Yeah, you can get pretty. Because let's see, the top of the lake is where the locks are. Yeah, there's your. I think there's the lock. And then you can go back into the Erie Canal system, and the Erie Canal goes all the way over to Albany. And then above Albany, where it joins up here, where's the locks? There's the locks right here. You can go above Albany for a little bit, all the way up the Hudson. And there's more locks that you can go through. And then where's the branch off? Or am I stupid? Yeah, it's like right up here. Yeah, this lock right here. You can then take this little waterway, go all the way inside, all the way up past Whitehall, which I think there's an Amtrak station there. If I'm not, yeah, there is. Take boat all the way up through the big lake here, all the way to the top, and then you can join a canal to go all the way into Montreal, which I think is hilarious that you can even do that. Or I guess it goes up here, and then you have to take a boat down and then go to Montreal. Yeah, no, it's pretty funny that you can do that. There's a lot of canal system stuff that's very funny. I forget if this one's connected also. I think, yeah, it is. I think all the Finger Lakes are connected somehow. Unless, yeah, this one's also connected. I don't think these smaller ones are. I could be wrong. Yeah, no, these aren't connected. It's only the bigger ones. Flashback to cranning the NYC Montreal high-speed rail. Yeah, it's like that's mostly the Canadian side that fumbles a lot of that. It's kind of frustrating because it's like it takes like how far is this? Like it goes like this. So it's like 42 miles, but it takes like an hour and a half to do that. And it's like, Canadians, fix your shit. Ugh. And part of the problem is like Amtrak goes through this town up here, which is like straight line, like incredibly straight line there, and then comes into this town, makes a 90-degree turn, and then heads back out. Hello. Is the Empire Corridor higher speed? Some parts of it are. Like this section from Rensselaer up here to Hudson or below Hudson, slightly below Hudson is 110 capable. Yeah, I think it's like Rhinecliff to Rensselaer is 110. But below Rhinecliff is when it goes down to like 90, 80, or 80 is the whole section of the Metro North section, which is Poughkeepsie and below. But it's like you get a lot of congestion once you get past Croydon on Hudson, whatever. Because that's where the one, where is it? The rail yard is, yeah. Croton or whatever, Croton Harmon. Because below there, that's all your electrics join in, and you don't have diesels. CN is finally going to be fixing that. I think they already fixed it, or at least like welded it finally. Oh yeah, definitely. But oh, just got home from work. Well, unfortunately, I'm probably going to be finishing or wrapping up the stream soon. I'm like barely staying awake for some reason. I need to go fix that in a sec. Also got to answer some messages that people keep sending me. It's not that late here. I'm just I've didn't sleep the best last night, and also just like did a lot of different little things today. Excuse me. So it's line between Albany and Buffalo Street. Yeah, but unfortunately, so okay. So the Empire Corridor is great, and like this section between Albany here, which you join this section of track. Where is it? Right here. This section of track is actually 110 between Albany and Schenectady, really fast. And then you get to downtown Schenectady here. You cross the bridge, and then you go up here along the Mohawk River. And then once you join, where is it? Once you join the where does it? Yeah, once you join this section right here, that's when you officially join CSX main, the CSX main. And when you do that, that's when all the problems start because you have congestion with the freight traffic or whatever. So yeah, and yeah, from Schenectady to Buffalo is it's relatively straight, but you have to deal with the CSX and all the freight traffic, which is not the best. But eventually, if they do build high-speed rail, I don't know. I'm debatingly between like, I don't know. I'd rather see 4 tracks and then like electrification versus total high-speed rail. It depends. There's multiple things you could possibly spend your money on with that. Just moved to a new apartment in Little Italy in San Diego. Been using the trolley to move stuff. That's cool. I forget the West Shore line used to go to Buffalo as a freight only line during New York Central days. Yes. Well, actually, you want to see something ridiculous? You can look at any like rail guide map of Buffalo, because currently nowadays it looks more sane, I guess. But if you switch it back to classic owners, it used to be kind of insane with the different railroads all conjoining and ending up in Buffalo. For multiple reasons. One, Buffalo used to be a big city. It used to be 1 million people. And it's now half that size, or roughly half that size. And the other thing is that Buffalo was the first big city, or at least one of the first big cities that was part of the Great Lakes system. So you could ship things pretty easily. And because of that, you can obviously see all of the railroads kind of had their terminals around the waterfront where they could offload stuff and send stuff to different places. So that's why they all kind of conjoined there, because it was the thing to do to get from New York to Buffalo and then like ship stuff further west using that. Yes, definitely you'll see probably Brightline West, California high-speed rail at minimum There's going to be a bunch of other, but also don't put aside the original Acela. That is technically high-speed rail. People slander the original Acela, but it's actually quite good. If you're riding Amtrak between New York and Washington, it's actually it's quite a good ride. The section that really sours the whole experience, which I would talk about in the Northeast Corridor video, is the section between New York and New Haven and the rest of Connecticut. That's the slower section. But if this section was exploded here, the whole Acela system would actually be quite good. But if you want high-speed rail, if you ride the Acela from New York to Philly or New York to Washington, you will experience actual high-speed rail. It's not like incredible, but it is an experience, and like it does exist in the U.S. How about New Haven to Springfield? I mean, New Haven to Springfield is like you get 110 sections, but it's not high speed. It's higher speed. I was talking about something that isn't already in the works. Yeah, you will probably get some other things. I think it's if you want like it depends because there's definitely some that LA area is electrify the Port Jefferson branch. Huntington is quite busy because you got the whole collage at Stony Brook. Yeah, I mean Port Jeff branch is kind of interesting. I actually knew a person that had a model railroad of the Port Jeff branch. But I think where it's only electrified up to, I forget where it's electrified up to currently. I'm not good with Long Island Railroad stuff. The momentary sound when the Acela passes New Brunswick. Yeah, no, when the Acela goes through New Brunswick and it blows the horn while going through it, the Doppler effect through the buildings itself sounds incredible. Hunting, open railway. Ah, that's right. Come on, load. There we go. Okay. Yeah, because the electrification ends there. I mean, yeah, it would make sense to do the rest of it. Especially because the Port Jeff branch gets pretty high ridership for the most part, if I remember correctly. It'll be interesting if... because where does it stop currently with Ronkonkoma? Yeah. I think Amtrak wants to go to Ronkonkoma, and it would make sense for them to stay within the Well, Amtrak wants to do it for two reasons. One, it's like... So part of the problem with Amtrak is that if we go to this section, when Amtrak goes down here and goes through Washington and then spreads out in Virginia... Or wait, let's use this map. This is better. When Amtrak goes down out of Washington and goes into Virginia, it spreads out and goes to a bunch of different places. Like if you click on these, there's usually a regional in Norfolk, or where is it? 171 is to Roanoke. I think 66 is, well, that's already going north. Yeah, Northeast Regional Richmond. So a bunch of them go down here to different places in Virginia. The problem with this is that like you can store a lot of these regionals down here at different rail yards in these little stations, and then once you go north, you start running out of places to dead end them at the other end in Boston or Springfield. So one of the ideas is that there's a bunch of regionals that actually terminate in New York City and don't go further north. So the other idea is to, instead terminating them in New York City, you send them out in Long Island Railroad and you terminate like a few of them, 2 or 3 of them in Ronkonkoma. And so that actually saves you... I assume they would maybe add to the yard space or just use yard space that's already there. But the whole idea is that you could essentially run more service using the same amount of trains, but just not dead-ending them in New York anymore. You're dead-ending them in Ronkonkoma. And so you can get a sort of throughway service from Long Island to the rest of the Northeast, which I think is pretty smart. Yeah, and there is the airport there too. I don't know how connected it is, but it is a thing. So Long Island Railroad tunnel any better than taking the ferry? I don't know what you mean by that. Is your opinion on the Spider-Man 2 launching? I have no idea. Let's see. Need to see if the track speed thing, because yeah, the still annoyed with a lot of the Philly section here because it's like 80 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, 65, and then like outside the corner you can go back to 125 or whatever. Like here, zoom in. Come on, give me track speeds. Well, 110. Where's like the 125? I guess you have to go up a little bit, but yeah, you can always tell when you come out of the Frankfurt curve here. They immediately getting out of the curve, they punch it to get back to speed. East of Ronkonkoma is dead. Yeah, they'll eventually fix that. It's another thing. They probably, I know LIR is kind of 80 miles an hour only, but they could definitely upgrade parts of the main line to go faster. I know they probably don't care or don't want to, but it's definitely. Ooh, why does it drop to such a slow speed? What? Why? Why is it that slow? Huh? Because even the Montauk branch doesn't go that slow. Oh, that better not. I know. Ugh. Yeah, you weren't kidding. Huh. Wonder why they make it go that slow there. Because that's not. It's not like it's windy track. It's just probably shit condition. It's probably. I think it's a signal thing. I would be interested. I'll have to look that up. How about Amtrak extending Virginia service to Christiansburg or later Bristol? Track conditions are so bad. I hate running it. Greenport has no signals on the scoot. Oh no. I know that there's the rail museum out there. I eventually need to go to. Um, that's because it's dark territory. I didn't. Why the fuck is it dark territory? What? Let's see. How many trains? Oh, there's only 3 trains a day. Okay. Like I knew it was. I knew it wasn't that much, but that's. Huh. Empire doesn't have it. Yeah, No Man's Land, part of Long Island. Well, it's amazing that there's high level platforms out in the middle of nowhere. Also, they have this like tiny dinky rail museum here, which I think is always funny. Ooh, jointed rail. Yeah, I don't see any signals out here. No wonder. Um, yeah, I need to eventually go out here and see a lot of this section. But yeah, no wonder. No wonder there's not much going on. DM is the worst job to get. Also, these track conditions. Look at those. Those are. Oh no, wait. That's concrete ties. Okay. Oh, but it's just concrete ties for the crossing, and then not. Okay. Hey, that looks like a signal. I can't see. Um, it's probably just for the platform though. Let me see. Oh yeah, it goes from concrete ties to immediately jointed rail. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting when the D30s get replaced. Because you'll be getting the Chargers eventually, and like I know people have complained about the Chargers, but they can't be any worse than the dual modes, the current dual modes. Oh yeah, it's not terrible looking track, but it's not amazing looking track. Huh. I always forget that there's like little hills in this section too. Also, this grade separation is very goofy. Because I know that certain parts of Long Island are actually quite hilly. Jointed rail. It's 5 minutes. Missed a trip. Yeah, no. My last experience with jointed rail was on the Buckingham branch on the Cardinal, and it's like you're on that for like 3.5 hours, and then like you get back onto the CSX main, and you get on welded rail again. You're like, oh shit, this is what it's supposed to feel like. That's right. Um, it's like a luxury that you're not like loud. It's like not loud as shit the entire time. Um, is there there's a university here, isn't there? Or am I just I thought there was a university or something out here. Or is it just all county stuff? A train arriving, so you see how bad the track. All right, let me see. Let's do the green, was it Greenport? Okay. No, not music. I follow Miles stuff because that's it. He's one of the only channels I've subscribed on the second channel. Scoot video. Oh god, Falmers. This is the track inspection vehicle. All right. What do we got? Oh yeah, you can see it bobbing and weaving like this. That's how you can always fun track when you can always see it. It's hunting and you're not even at speed. The funnest track is when it's like old and it doesn't have it's like rusted over, and so you can see like rust spots and shit, and like it makes that like creaking noise when the rust is like grinding out of the way. That's how you can tell it's super fucked track. Um, I imagine this line gets busy in the summer when you get people that want to go out there, but otherwise I don't see how this could be quite useful. Is it only 2 cars? It is only 2 cars. That's funny. Oh yeah, look at that move. Let's see. Is this the only? Let's see. What's? There's so many derogatory railfan videos in here. Let's try this one. Oh no, that is not. That is not on the. That's an old video. Okay. Yeah, that's it. This is also old. This is 8 years old. Let's try this one. 9 years old. Like up Scoot arriving at Riverhead. Um, 2019. Okay. Try this one. This is the account I don't have, or YouTube Premium on. Come on. It's so funny that Foamers, I do like Foamers in the fact that you can look up like station such date and you can almost get, you can almost always find a video. Also the old, that's the turbine unit or turbine unit, right? I didn't know that was sitting there. Because that was at like M3 or whatever, M1 that they tried to do the turbine in. The vid under this one really shows it. Okay. The other thing you look for is a deflection of like ties and stuff. I don't see too much stuff moving. This one, I think. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that track quality. This is not as quite bad as the that one video everyone always quotes, American rail infrastructure so shit. It's that one like short line in Ohio that has like running through a swamp. It's kind of Central Eastern European vibe. Yeah, I mean it's because of the loading gauge. Loading gauge causes you to kind of shrink everything or crunch everything. Oof, yeah, no, not good track. I want to go ride this because how long is this? How like this is like an hour or something like ride. Like it can't be fast. Oh yeah, look at that. This track's not terrible, but it's like yeah, I can't imagine riding on this for a while or that being like a they need to, I don't know why they run these. They need DMUs of some sort, like DMUs with third rail pickups because it's like there's no reason to run that big locomotive. Um that's so goofy. Um Guys, gets out of the way. The farmers is end up in the video on YouTube. Yeah, third rail flares, RDCs. Yeah, no, we need some sort of DMU with third rail pickup because there's a bunch of places around New York that could be pretty useful. Um, is there anything in the market for modern American DMUs? Yeah, no, there is, but like it's just Stadler and pretty much Siemens are the only ones that makes them. Um, You just have autonomous MUs. Oh gosh, don't the autonomous maybe not. Put third rail shoes on RDCs. We need something like the RDCs again. Do you have a bad rail line in your area? For passenger, probably not that bad. Um, maybe parts of the Atlantic City line, otherwise not that bad. But what was it? I'm gonna let's see. Is the cat around? No. I'm gonna wrap up because I am pretty tired and also have to go do some things. But I want to say always thank you for hanging out tonight. I'm gonna try to do these more consistently, especially now that I have all the uh, my moving stuff nailed down. I can now actually focus on other things because I've been putting a lot of energy into that. Um, otherwise, yeah, the videos hopefully we'll get back to a faster schedule, and we'll see everything try to improve. And then I'm also looking really forward to doing this media company stuff and actually letting you guys know what's up, because me and Interurban Era or Miles Callahan are the ones that are working on this, and hope to show more of that very soon. Heist is also streaming. Oh, well, I guess you guys can go over and say hi to him. Unfortunately, I don't think a YouTube allows me to do a raid like Twitch can, which is one of the funner things about Twitch. Which I've been debating if I want to use, because I used to use it, but don't use it much anymore, obviously. But either way, Let me see. Either way, yeah, have a good night, and we'll hopefully hang out sometime very soon again. And we'll do something a little bit more fun than just talking, because this one was mainly just chatting and kind of catching up. So yeah, you guys have a good night, and we'll see you around.